Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys news: Tyler Smith shifting to LT remains an option for 2024. With the Cowboys having no clear plan at LT, everything remains on the table. Tyler Smith could be on the move again. The Tulsa product, who will turn 23 in early April, has been shuffled between left guard and left tackle ever since being selected in the first round of 2022's draft. And amid another offseason of change for the Dallas front five, which position Smith will occupy in the coming year is of high concern, as it has the potential to drive other key choices, especially when it comes to a talented draft class of offensive tackles. Despite turning in a Pro Bowl campaign in 2023 at guard, Smith may now be headed back to the position he was originally drafted for. Clarence Hill Jr. of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram reported on Sunday that Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is treating Smith as the working option at left tackle heading into draft weekend. "I'd say that's a good, viable thing," Jones explained, per Michael Gelkin of the Dallas Morning News. "Keep the idea there. Don't dismiss the idea. Certainly, he's potentially, I want to say, a great player at left tackle." Are Cowboys really all in? Compare them to Chiefs, and you'll understand what Jerry Jones meant. Jerry Jones began painting himself into this corner in January. The always interview-friendly Dallas Cowboys team owner used two words that began to ring across league halls. He doesn't regret them, per SE. But he's aware of them. He knows how they've been interpreted, and he knows that interpretation has veered from his own. So after a quiet free agency in which the Cowboys have lost far more talented players than they gained, and thus far have not issued any major extensions to their existing stars, allow Jones to further explain what he meant when he said he was all in. "We get to be the world champion of how it works when you don't have as much money, but make no mistake about it, with every tool we got, we're all in," Jones said Sunday from the hallways of the NFL's annual league meetings. "We're all in. As a matter of fact, this is rolling the sleeves up and more all in here than we were last year or the year before. It can impact us 4, in some cases, 5 years down the road." Jones' salary cap concerns are far from new. He and his son, Executive Vice President Stephen Jones, have long bemoaned the limited pie they have to allocate among players, speaking of it with a frequency and tenor that seems beyond their 31 counterparts. Sure, salary cap hits come. The Kansas City Chiefs trading star receiver Tyreek Hill is the best example in recent memory, though the trade helped Kansas City keep quarterback Patrick Mahomes, tight end Travis Kelce and defensive tackle Chris Jones as its trifecta of leaders on and off the field. The Cowboys face a similar situation. Their challenge: can they rely on their core trifecta to go all the way, when in recent postseasons they've struggled to go any of the way? Quarterback Dak Prescott, receiver CeeDee Lamb and edge rusher Micah Parsons threaten to be the foundation on which the Cowboys get over the hump. They've each anchored the Cowboys 3 straight 12-5 seasons. None of them have taken the team beyond the divisional round of the postseason in those years, the hump that began after the 1995 season only growing steadily ever since. What formula would the Cowboys currently ride? Jones believes that if the Cowboys advance this season, they'll do so because Prescott will have risen still further from his career-best 2023 regular season, and the Cowboys' run defense will shore up the gaping holes that the Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers and Green Bay Packers exposed last season. But Jones says he doesn't believe shelling out money is the most guaranteed route. Take 2019, when he believed he had the best offensive line in the game and a running back to match it. He gave Ezekiel Elliott a market-setting deal worth $15 million per year, with $60 million guaranteed. The Cowboys wouldn't make it to the playoffs for 3 seasons, they wouldn't win a game for 4. Jones looks at Elliott's deal with the benefit of hindsight and knows he'd operate differently now, as he showed this month when he let Tony Pollard hit free agency amid a running back valuation that continues to dip. Again, he doesn't regret paying Elliott, he says. But what does he regret? I regret not winning, Jones said. Frankly, I regret not winning the Super. And really, while our fans might take exception to that, where we have spent this money, we've been hanging around the rim pretty good. We've been winning a lot of games. That's what has transpired with us spending that money the way that we spend it over that. I would agree with you. Satisfactory to sit here and not have advanced these last 2 or 3 years? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nobody did good enough for our fans to have those results, and I'm okay with that? Of course not. So what, then, does Jones means by all in? Fans would be wise to interpret the phrase twofold, the first tenet hinging on what the Cowboys already have done and the second hinging on what they are going to do. The Cowboys already have Prescott, Lamb and Parsons under contract for 2024. They have head coach Mike McCarthy, paired with a new defensive coordinator in Mike Zimmer, as the managers tasked with better scheming an allegedly talented roster to fulfill its potential and to win when it matters most instead of only when it matters least. The second tenet hinges on the flexibility the Cowboys are keeping for the next 5 or so years. McCarthy and Prescott each are scheduled to enter 2024 on expiring deals. Neither Jones' tone nor the sentiment of agents around the league suggest a belief that the Cowboys are eager to do a deal, some even describing Dallas negotiations or lack thereof as a case of deal inertia. Does this mean Jones, once and for all, is not all in? It could. After all, the octogenarian is far less risk-averse now than he was when he developed his risk-taking reputation. But also, perhaps Jones is all in on assessing whether his talent and coaching can get over a hump they've shown little progress toward. Perhaps he's all in on trying to discern if none of his puzzle pieces fit or if some will best structure the frame for new ones to enter. Should the Chicago Bears make this trade with the Cowboys before the 2024 NFL Draft? We are a little over a month away from the 2024 NFL Draft. As it stands, the Chicago Bears only have 4 picks in the draft. Luckily, 3 of those 4 are in the top 75. Ryan Poles needs to work some serious magic if he's going to walk away from the draft with more than 4 prospects. Should the Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams with the first overall pick as expected, most anticipate Poles to move down from 9 or 75, or both, to acquire more draft capital. Fans and analysts had expected Poles to land at least 1, if not 2 draft picks when they traded Justin Fields. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Ryan Poles chose to do right by Fields and sent him to Pittsburgh for a future 6th-rounder as opposed to one in the upcoming draft. Reports are there were other offers with greater returns, but Poles put Fields first. Pro Football Network, PFN, recently came up with 10 trade hypotheticals, and one of those trades involved the Chicago Bears. Their idea was for the Cowboys to call up Ryan Poles and convince him to send Khalil Herbert to Dallas for a 2024 6th-round pick, 216. PFN's reasoning for the move is that Dallas lost Tony Pollard this offseason to the Tennessee Titans. The Titans signed Pollard to the same deal that the Chicago Bears gave to DeAndre Swift, 3 years, $24 million. The Cowboys don't have a great amount of salary cap space to work with, and the free agent running backs still available aren't much to look at. PFN thinks trading for Khalil Herbert could solve the Cowboys' running back problem while not breaking the bank, since Herbert is still in the last year of his rookie contract and due only a little over $1 million in 2024. Is netting a 6th-rounder this year worth trading Herbert? The answer is no. Even with Herbert not likely to return in 2025, having him as a backup to DeAndre Swift and Roscoe Johnson seems ideal. Herbert was a 6th-rounder himself, but anything less than a 5th-rounder seems like a waste for Chicago. Dallas could easily sign someone like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Marlon Mack, or Joshua Kelly in free agency for relatively the same price as Herbert. Herbert is better than any of those 3, but why would Chicago weaken their running back group just to have to sign one of these guys instead? What might look great on paper for Dallas, looks bad for Chicago. DeAndre Swift has an injury history. Roscoe Johnson missed multiple weeks due to a concussion. Herbert has also struggled with injuries at times. Having all three on the same roster makes the Chicago Bears better in 2024. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation of Khalil Herbert? Leave your opinion in the comments.